All right, y'all. Part two of believe or experience, right? And even though this is part two, this chapter, this chapter is named ve-tzidik yesod olam. The righteous one is the foundation of the earth. All right. So, first of all, I really hope that I bring this information to you all efficiently. And second of all, hope that my battery sustain and hold up. And I really am excited to bring this information to y'all because it's very profound. All right. And recording this in the manner that I am, I could really dive in deeper if I really, didn't deliver the information in the manner in which I'm doing it today. So I probably will get into this a little deeper. So where I left off and where my phone died yesterday, I believe I was talking about the sephirot in the tree of life. And essentially the tree of life is just a diagram, all right? But it's also a family tree. And I say a family tree because the tree of life, right, which is a diagram, or the family tree, or the 10 sephirot, all right, and its paths of wisdom, because each path correlate to what? It correlates to a letter, all right, and each letter correlates to a path, all right. So what does the letters have to do with it? Well, God created the world through speech, through sound vibration. And he created the world. And I have a video describing the first verse of the Bible and what he created, what was created in the beginning. All right? Bet Rashid. All right? Can also be translated not only as in the beginning, but with wisdom. All right, and so with wisdom, a house is built. So what was built? What was built was the Elohim, the sephirot. And these are the worlds. And these worlds, or let's call it the heavenly realm. But his house has many mansions. So there are many worlds and higher, different levels of worlds. All right, so let's get into this a little bit. And I'm trying to show and prove and what I was speaking about in part one, which is believe or experience. All right, because this science is really not about believing. This science is really about experience. All right, and there's nothing wrong with believing, because through believing and through faith becomes any experience that you would like to have. But that goes into a different topic. So ve-tzidik yesod olam. So at the bottom of the tree you have Melkuth, which is symbolized as the kingdom or earth. All right, and on top of Melkuth you have yesod, which is described as the foundation. So essentially, to make this simple, all right, the foundation and yesod, the foundation, is also described as the tzeddik, righteousness. And the yesod and the foundation is also described as the genitalia. All right, and this also alludes to the circumcision, the covenant. All right, so it gets symbolic, but it's all going to tie in if my battery sustains itself and I have time to explain it. So it all ties in. So we dealing with the covenant, we dealing with the tzeddik, the righteousness, the one on the path, and we dealing with the foundation and the genitalia. So what is circumcision? Because the circumcision is the covenant. So what is circumcision? Circumcision is when a baby is born. Of course, we all should know this. When a baby is born, and in the Jewish tradition, on the 8th day, the male becomes circumcised. So what is circumcision? Circumcision is removing excess skin to do what? It's removing excess skin, all right? Basically to removing it from the crown. So now the crown is visible. After you remove this excess skin, the crown is visible. So symbolically, what is this? This is removing the things that we don't want and the things that we don't need, and removing the things that's not of divinity, all right, to become the righteous one, all right? And this is the covenant. And the circumcision also deals with the tongue also. And this goes into speech, okay? And divine speech and things of that nature. All right? And so this is where the covenant is created. And this is how you become a righteous one, a tzaddik on the path. All right? Which I just explained symbolically through the circumcision. So now yesod deals with the genitalia. So yesod on the tree of life, yesod pulls down the energies from the higher sephirot. And so in order for these energies to be pulled down, you have to be a tzaddik. You have to be a righteous one. And so yesod essentially becomes married with sephirot, which is also symbolized as the sun or the heavens. Okay? And so sephirot is another sephirot above yesod. So you essentially climbing the tree and you are having access to higher primordial spiritual influx. Let's just say that. All right? And so we know, well, let me say this first. So Moses withstaying, it's said that Moses withstaying from sex. Okay? He withstaying from sex. And through him withstaining from sex, right, he ascended to the realm of sephirot. All right? And so this is why it spoke or said that Moses went on the mountain. He seen the face of God, and he received the 10 Commandments. And the 10 Commandments also alludes to the 10 sephirot. So he received the 10 Commandments. He seen the face of God. Asher, Aheye, Asher. Aheye, Asher, Aheye. I am that I am. He seen the face of God. All right? And so he received influx of the primordial light. And when he came down from the mountain, it was said that people was afraid of him because the light was radiating off of him. Okay? So now we have Yaakov or Jacob, who wrestled with an angel. Okay? Who wrestled with an angel. And it's also known as this, Jacob is also known as the sphere of yesod, which is the genitalia. He wrestled with the angel through the night, and at the end, he seen the face of God, pineal, which some also say alludes to the pineal gland. All right? And so after this, Jacob name was changed to Israel or Israel. So this is truly how you become an Israelite. So essentially, this is why I said previously, essentially becoming an Israelite is becoming enlightened, because you have now took the covenant and you have vowed to keep that connection with the higher world or the higher realm. And this is through the gate of righteousness, becoming a ve-tzidik, okay? Becoming a ve-tzidik, keeping the covenant, and gaining access through this covenant, through being a ve-tzidik, all right? Which also deals with the genitalia in the sexual nature, all right? And you gain access to the heavenly realm. And on the tree of life and on the sephirot, it's also called the heavenly realm. Now, Israel itself is also associated with Tiferet. And this is showing you that the kingdom of Israel is those who have ascended to the heavenly sphere. Now, this is really deep. This is really deep. And also, when it talks about in the Bible, and a lot of this information is coming from the Zohar people. So it's also talked about in the Bible that when the Israelites or the Hebrews left Egypt, they left with 600,000. But it is said esoterically that this 600,000 was from the upper world. You see? See, I got to go back to my video when I was telling y'all what a true Israelite is. I mean, what it truly means to be Hebrew. I'm sorry. Because essentially Hebrew and Israelite is one and the same, but the Hebrew has to turn into the Israelite. See, we have to turn into the Israelite. We have to gain that higher illumination which comes from the upper world through what? Through the gate of righteousness. See, this is really deep. And the 6,000 didn't come from the physical world. The 6,000 came from the upper world. And how you gain access through that upper world? Through the gate of righteousness. You see? So yeah, that's profound information for y'all. And you know, these mythological characters that that's spoken about in the Bible also alludes to a sephirot. All right, and I've said before that, you know, different books of the Bible are essentially initiations. All right, so you know, you are to become Moses, you are to become Joseph. This is your job here. This is the secret. This is the secret. You know, you are a vessel of the higher energy. All right, you're a vessel. You are a vessel of the higher energy. And I know I'm leaving a world of information out that I essentially meant to, you know, deliver to y'all today. But essentially that is, you know, the general thing that I wanted to present to you. But it's a lot of sidebar information that I'm really leaving out. And this is because I don't have no notes or nothing like that with me. So I am going to go into this more. When the time is right, I am going to go into this more. And so yeah, that's what it is. You know, that's really what it is. And this is also why in Judaism, this is why you see that all the festivals, all of the holidays, all of these things correspond to what? They correspond to astrology or astronomy. You know, all of these dates, you know, this is how I began to become really interested in this stuff, because I seen that, like, wow, these people, they really, you know, they really, like, it's, if you really study this stuff, you know, it's not really what you think it is. And it's, you know, so it's really dope. You know, it's really dope. It's really dope. So, but you gotta really, to really know how profound this is, you gotta really know what the sephirot is. And so the sephirot, so they have something called Adam Kadmon. And I spoke about this before. This is the macrocosm. You got the macrocosm and you got the microcosm. It said that we will create man in our image. This is the Elohim. Well, what is the Elohim? The Elohim is the tree. It is the family. It is how God manifested himself in different modes of vibration, which created the different heavenly host. Okay? Which created the heavenly host. All right? And so, you know, that goes back to talking about the festivals and the different holidays and the things of that nature, because the universe in our particular solar system is a deity. The solar system is a deity, family. Yahweh. That's the solar system. That's the deity. Yahweh. All right? And we essentially are trying to commune, you know, with this deity. And deities. And Adam Kadmon sits over what? Sits over the universe. So it's creation and creates, like it's levels to. It's creation on creation on creation. And you keep going up higher in vibrational frequency. You see what I'm saying? That's why at the top of the tree you got Keter, which is known as Ein Sof, no thing. Because it is said that man can't perceive. It's out of his logical perception. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that an ant can perceive the moon? Do you think an ant, a tick, or something like that can perceive the glory of the moon? Can perceive Mars or Jupiter? It's out of its perception. All right, so it's levels to this. And I have to get into this more, because I'm really not thoroughly explaining and getting into this as deep as I want to. But it was a video not too long ago where the girl from Black Lightning talked about a video, and she was proving that God existed. And she really was right exact. She probably a Christian or something like that. But she really was right exact, because she was backing up what she was saying through Genesis, and she was talking about Einstein and the theory of relativity and things of that nature, and basically said that, you know, for the universe to exist, something had to create it, which was something that I said myself that I never knew that Einstein said himself. But that was really deep to me, because, you know, when you get into Kabbalah and when you really study the sephirot, and when you get into the tradition and they show, you know, what's really going on, that's really true. You know, just like I said, Adam Kadmon sits over the universe. It's, you know, it's like, you know, how I talked about the worlds that's also talked about in Kabbalah. You know, Atziluth, the highest world, Bria, then it's Yetzirah, then it's Asiya. You know, these are different worlds, you know, in the vibrational and in the vibrational frequency of different realms of physical or let's say primordial existence. You dig what I'm saying? And so yeah, for something to exist, something had to create it. All right. And so, but we got to understand that there is a point where certain knowledge is just out of our realm of perception. You dig what I mean? Which goes into the Ein Sof and the Ein Sof Or. So to wrap it up, how do you become an Israelite? Well, you have to know how, you have to have the knowledge and the know-how to be able to receive this primordial light that's coming down to us through what? Through what is said or presented as a diagram as the sephirot. All right? The light. You are able to access the light and become an Israelite only through the covenant, through the gate of righteousness. And I'm out, family. Ve-tzidik, yesod, olam.